A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a bounty hunter who captured Han Solo. But is Boba Fett a good guy or a bad guy? That's what we're talking about here on the Brewmance podcast. Welcome to it. Thanks for being with us. My name is Rob Hunter. That guy over there is Mike Russell. Together, we think the best conversations happen over a beer, including whether or not Boba Fett's a good guy or a bad guy. Mike Russell, you had a problem with your beer.
Hey, look, I swear this has never happened before, okay?
You said that like five times on the podcast itself.
Okay. We're drinking Modern Times beer, Ice. It's a Pilsner, and I just got it for the can art. I just saw the can art, and I'm like, this is cool. This looks like you should have the roller skates out in the garage listening to That's what you should. This is what you should be listening to. Good times. All right.
Good times.
That's right.
Mine had a little problem too, so it's not just you today.
Okay, there we go.
But mine's only small. My problem's only small.
then you actually have two problems in that case.
That's true.
There we go.
Hey.
Now, go ahead. No, just bring it up, buddy.
Yeah, I was just going to say. So we were having a debate one day on our afternoon show, Russell and Hunter. In between the commercial breaks, we do a Facebook Live show. We do that the whole show. But during the breaks, we were talking about Boba Fett. And I asked the question, or you did, I can't remember, if Boba Fett's a good guy or is he a bad guy? Mm-hmm. Because in the story, he's only in what? 2 of the Star Wars actual episodes. Yes. I mean, aside from the fact that he's a kid and he's not. But as Boba Fett, as the bounty hunter, he's in episode, which one? Empire Strikes Back? Is he in that one?
Empire Return.
And then in Return, he dies in Return. So it's kind of like, all right. Like when you're a kid and you're watching that, like, who's the guy in the cool armor?
Yeah, the Mandalorian armor.
Mm-hmm.
He looks badass. It's Boba Fett. Boba Fett is a good dude. I think he's a good guy. He's just a ticked off good dude. That's really what he is. He's just a ticked off good dude, and he is a contractor. So he's a private contractor.
All right. Before I weigh in on this, because I don't think he is. I think he's a bad guy. Because he works with Darth Vader.
All right.
To catch Han, deliver Han to Jabba, and then thwart the rebellion at the same time. So therefore, he in the story is a bad guy because he's helping the Empire. The Empire's tyrannical control over the entire universe. Rebellion's like, think of the Revolutionary War, the American patriots taking it on. Like, we're going to take on the British.
Okay.
So I think he's a bad guy.
Okay, I disagree because you got to way back up. You got to go way back. You got to go back up pre-Boba and go to Jango Fett. Jango Fett is not dad. You understand this? Jango Fett was the person that they cloned all of the clones, basically the original stormtroopers in the Clone Wars. They cloned them all from him.
So they're the predating of the stormtroopers.
Correct.
It was like version 1, V1.
Right.
Was a bunch of Jango Fetts.
Dude cashed in on 20 million credits to be a part of this program.
Is that a lot of money?
I don't know. I'm going to call it 20 million bucks. I'm just saying, let's roll with it, right? And he wanted a unaltered clone as his son. So it's basically a clone. It's not really his son, but whatever. So Jango Fett and then little mini Jango Fett is Boba Fett. Everybody catching up there? Yes. Perfect. Jango Fett had a pretty wild life. He was orphaned. He was raised by Mandalorians, so he is not technically a Mandalorian. He's raised by me. He kind of chose the lifestyle. And then he was captured by a corrupt government that the Jedi were protecting. The Jedi turned him over to that government. That government sold him into slavery for years. Yes, Jango. And then he escaped and then basically became a bounty hunter, mercenary type.
Because there's no way he could make a living.
Sure. And he was recruited by this Jedi named Count Dooku. Mm-hmm. And Count Dooku was a Jedi. So he's for all intents and purposes, he was a good dude. Not really, because he was Darth Tyrannus. He was a bad guy.
But so after Count Dooku turns to the dark side, is that when he recruited Jango, or did he do it prior to turning to the dark
side? He had already turned to the dark side, but still was masquerading as a Jedi, and I'm Count Dooku. I'm the good guy. Kind of like Palpatine was he was just a diplomat. He was a politician. He wasn't the emperor, but he really was.
Right, of course.
Same.
Got it.
So he basically starts doing that business. And so he was just basically a guy for hire. He was recruited to be the head of his security, and that's really what he was. I don't even think Jango was a bad guy. He was just recruited by the bad guys, and the way he was doing his thing.
But,
at the same time, he was also a bounty hunter. He was doing both.
But he's raising his son, and
yeah,
this is what we're doing. We're going on these adventures, and come along with me for the ride, son. This is kind of cool.
Well, it's funny that you say that. So this is where I want to get to it, because we're going to go to whether Boba's a good guy or bad guy. So on his first adventure, his first bounty, Jango took Boba along with him for the first time. Boba was upset because the crew that they got together, he didn't know him. And Jango said, hey, listen, I want you to work with people you don't know. You got to deal with adversity. You got to deal with the different situations. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be different. So work this way. So they get to their, they find their person. They actually capture their person. And it was a runaway. They actually capture the person. And then 2 of the 3 people they had with them, 2 of the 3 of their crew, basically locked down Boba and threatened to kill him if Jango didn't take off and give them all of the bounty.
Oh, okay.
So, you know what Jango said? He said, okay, good luck with that. Boba can handle himself.
Wow.
And Boba had a blaster strapped to his leg, takes out 2 of the captors, points the gun at the 3rd, and it didn't have anything to do with the captain. And he asked his dad, what do you want me to do with this one? He goes, it's up to you. This is your situation. You do your thing. He told the guy to scoop, get out of here, scurry, you're good. And then that kind of started Jango's, kind of reputation of I'm fair. At least I'm not just going to go kill everybody. I'm a fair dude.
Okay. So how long after that Jango gets killed by Mace Windu? So I know this is part of the story. I think it's an episode
quickly after.
Yeah. Okay.
Quickly after. It's
so he goes on a bounty hunt because he's still working for Dooku, which is why. How did he end up? This is what I don't understand, I guess, because I didn't rewatch the movies prior to the podcast because I don't want to watch episodes 1, 2, and 3 ever again. I'm good. So I think this is episode 2, right? Where Jango Fett is somehow involved in the Jedis and Mace Windu cuts his head off.
No, he's not involved with the Jedi. He's actually with Dooku at that time. He's part of Dooku's security.
Yeah. Well, he's battling with the Jedis.
Oh, he'll take Jedi out. Yeah, he's no fan of the Jedi. Jedi sold him into slavery.
Right.
Yeah, Jango's like, I could cap some Jedi here. I don't care.
But he didn't cap any Jedi. He got shot.
But it was a personal vendetta. Is really what it was.
Sure.
It wasn't like, look at me. I'm a high-ranking officer in the Empire. I never thought, Jango was just Jango. He's just a bad dude. I mean, wouldn't you be?
Well, then that's it, right? So we're getting to the circumstantial argument as to whether or not good or bad is cut and dry, is black and white, for say. Because you could make that case that why did the Jedi sell him into slavery? Not a good look for the Jedi.
Well, Jedi actually just turned him over to the government that did, the corrupt government that did.
But still, Jedi are supposed to be able to foresee those kind of things. Yes. So that, I guess, is where I'm starting to struggle, because now I'm starting to see a pattern of, okay, I get why Jango wouldn't like the Jedi. I get why then Boba, his clone from his DNA, but not accelerated like the clones, watching his father having his head chopped off by a Jedi, also wouldn't like Jedi.
He actually tried to, got a crew together and sabotaged Mace Windu's ship and crashed that thing, and then set a bomb in his dad's helmet and put it in the ship. So when Mace Windu would go into the ship to look for survivors, he would his dad's helmet would blow him up, but it was unsuccessful.
That was not in the movie.
No.
Okay, so that's either in a book or a Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's just basically the universe.
Because that's also part of the interesting part about where Star Wars goes and why the lines get really blurred. The further you dig into the story, the further the lines get blurry. Because I think I was having a conversation with my wife at one point. We were talking about Star Wars, and we're talking about, for peacekeepers, the Jedi kill a lot of people.
That's true.
Wow. And I know that's part of the movie thing, right? They have to be the enforcers. But in that example where they turn over Jango to a corrupt government then sells Jango into slavery. So instead of just letting Jango go and be like, hey, you know what? Cool. We're not going to turn you. Was he a fugitive? Like what? Maybe you said this and I missed it.
No, that backstory gets way long. We need a couple more beers for that backstory. So we get into the Mandalore and all that, and we get into who was the real faction, different factions of the Mandalorians, and that can go on for days. Yeah.
So let's get up to Boba now. So we know that Jango's dead. Boba's what, 11 years old, something like that?
I don't know the age.
Yeah, so he's around. I think I read he's around 10 or 11 at this time.
Makes sense.
So he's got to figure out how to survive on his own.
He goes right into bounty hunting. Goes right into it. Obviously, he swears vengeance on Mace Windu, attempts that. So it kind of gives him some cred. Like, okay, this kid's no joke. This kid's kind of a bad A. So let's follow him. And then he just builds a reputation, just getting gigs and becoming a bounty hunter. That's his thing. So pissed off kid, making a living for himself. I'm not going to say that everything that he's done was good, but I sure as hell won't call him a bad guy.
Well, and if you think about it from that standpoint, how many people, fictional character or not, in that situation, orphaned at 10, watching your dad get murdered? Not only that, but, oh, that was a lightsaber chopping my dad's head clean off.
Yeah.
How many people are going to come out of that and go, I'm fine. I am just okay? Not many people.
No.
Fictional character or not.
Right.
So he's I'll call him a flawed character, but that's not an accurate description of what he is.
He just has character flaws.
Well, but based for an actual reason, right?
Yeah, right.
You see your dad get murdered, you're going to have what we would call character flaws.
He has some issues.
Yeah, right. But now you can understand that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so he goes through, and then he's one of the best bounty hunters out. That's why he's on the ship with Darth Vader. Him and Bosk and some of the other ones, I can't remember their names. But they're all standing there, and they're all... Darth is doing his thing, and he's talking about getting Han Solo or whatever. Because Vader knew how important Han was.
Correct.
Capture Han, Luke and Leia might come, or at least Luke, because he's trying to get to Luke. Because he knows he kills Luke or converts Luke, one of the two options, best option for Darth Vader.
Well, I think the only thing wrong with what you just said was I believe that he knew that there was a bounty on Han Solo
from Jabba.
But I think that he was like, okay, but everyone else, like, let's all get together, just go get this entire crew. I don't think it was. I was trying to understand what you're saying. Darth Vader joining Jabba to get.
No.
Oh, okay.
What I was saying was Darth knew that Han Solo, having a bounty out from Jabba, would draw the bounty hunters in. And if they captured Han, Luke and Leia would come, more importantly, Luke, because he's trying to convert Luke to his side so they can overthrow the Emperor, and they can take over and rule. So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two, all right, maybe he has to kill his son, and then the rebellion's dead, because now they don't have any Jedi, and there's no way they can withstand the Emperor and Darth.
Well, yeah, and he hates every single thing going on with all of those three, as they kind of blew up his spaceship.
Yeah, sure. So, but that's it, right? So he's like, all right, I'm gonna play chess.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna draw the bounty hunters in. I'm gonna offer them a prize. A job is gonna pay them, and then they capture Han, and then he gets in the carbonite.
There we go.
And that's why Boba Fett is with Jabba the Hutt. But he worked with Darth. Like, that's the part. So he worked with Darth, knowing how evil Darth is. And he took Darth's money or Jabba's money or a combination thereof.
Yeah, I bet a combination.
That's why in the movie, he's a bad guy. Because he works with Vader. He interrupts the rebellion's plans. That, in the course of that first 3-episode series, episode 4, 5, and 6, makes him align with the bad guys.
Oh, I mean, even before then. I mean, Boba had a contract to kill Padme. I mean, he even got a crew to do it. He basically was subcontracting it out. I mean, he had a full-fledged business going. This was his deal. This was his world.
See, and you don't think that makes him a bad guy?
I just don't think he had allegiance. I think you have to have an allegiance to one side in this story. I think you have to have an allegiance to one side or the other. I don't think he had allegiance to either. I think he had allegiance to money and his own career.
Here's another question. Side note. How expensive is it to run one of those ships? They never talk about money. So 20 million credits, I don't know. That might be enough to fuel 1 day of space travel.
It's all nuclear. It's fine.
It's fine.
They figured out cold fusion years ago.
Exactly. We're way behind the 8 ball. It was millions and millions of years ago.
But that's it. When it comes to these guys being bad guys or good guys, it really all just depends on which side of the ball you're playing on. I mean, to the entire empire, these are good dudes. They're really good guys. Look, they're the best of the best. We're going to hire the best, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to hire the best.
Well, and it's kind of interesting, too, when you ask people whether they are aligned with the rebellion or whether they're aligned with the empire. It kind of lets you look at how people would rule the world if they had a chance.
Interesting.
Because the empire is all about control, not about freedom at all.
Right.
Do not let anybody be free. You control everybody that you can control.
Now I like where you're going.
See, that's it.
Yeah,
right?
get it.
Because I've always been on the side of the rebellion.
Okay.
So I've always viewed the rebellion as the good side because that side, theoretically, is on the side of freedom.
Right.
Where a soul can be free to do what they want, do business with what they want, whereas the Empire is the exact opposite. The Empire would be China or Russia in the most evil form, planetary system-wise.
But you ask any Russian, you ask any North Korean, ask any of the Chinese, how about Iran? Ask them who the great Satan is. That's that shining light on the top of the hill, America.
They let people be free.
It depends on which side you're on.
Well, it's easy to draw the line when you have your taste of freedom. Or, I'm going to shoot you if you don't say this out loud. All right, I'm on your side.
Okay, but I bet you'd show the entire Star Wars saga to people in any of those countries that I mentioned, and they would see the United States as the Empire.
Well, because they've been brainwashed.
They would. I know. Mm-hmm. I understand this. I get this.
That's what the school system.
But what I'm saying is I'm looking at it from a different angle, I think, than most people. I love the way you're looking at it, and I haven't looked at it like that. But I'm looking at it from this guy was a contractor, out making dough, doing his thing. So was Han Solo. Han Solo, same thing. He was the same thing until he linked up. He was just a contractor.
But in the context of the story, because I think a part of this becomes revisionist history, because I don't know how much George Lucas really thought about Boba Fett's story in the initial run, and then it just develops from there on out. So in the initial episodes 5 and 6, Empire, Return of the Jedi, it appears that Boba's a bad guy, working with Darth Vader, has no moral quandaries about it whatsoever. The more you dig into the story, the more you find, oh, okay, well, he watched his dad's head get chopped off right in front of him by a Jedi. Yeah. So he thinks the Jedi are evil.
Which would support that theory going on. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's at least an explanation as to why he would side with the Empire, because for him it's personal.
Yeah.
So whether he's good or bad doesn't really matter in the sense that this is straight up vengeance plot.
Okay, and I would go with that. But if you look at, I think it's easy to see when you go back and look at the communication that they had, especially around Han Solo and the Carbonite. Him and Darth Vader have several interactions, and they are not together by any stretch of the imagination. They are not working together. They are not working together because Darth Vader keeps changing deals. Darth Vader's, basically say, we'll compensate you if we kill him, whatever.
Yeah.
They're not, it's not, yeah, so what? Do your job. You work for us.
Because they drew him into Lando's plan.
Right.
That's where they caught him.
His guy, yes, Cloud City.
Cloud City. So they use Lando too. So they're working this multiple angles.
Sure.
So I forget what they did to Lando because it's been a while even since I've watched that episode. Where
basically he wasn't under Empire rule, and they said basically you don't play ball, you're going to be under Empire rule.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became under Empire rule, and Darth Vader said, "Just pray I don't alter the plan again.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you're going to die."
And that's when Lando switched. Because Lando was playing that middle ground too.
Yeah.
But see, there's an arc. And that's the difference between a Han and a Lando. They spin the good, whereas Boba doesn't really get the chance to because in the movie, he gets eaten he gets pushed in the Sarlacc pit.
I don't think even so. I don't think he'd change. I think he'd just stay exactly the way he was. Not loyal to anyone but Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he's loyal to.
But wasn't there a part where there's a scene, and again, I haven't watched Return of the Jedi in a hot minute. There's a scene where Boba kind of gives a nod to someone.
Oh, he gives a nod to, I believe he gives a nod to Luke because Luke shows up. Luke shows up with Chewie like you do. You got Chewie. You got Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a bounty and a half right there. Dude.
Yeah.
Well played.
So that scene may be the one thing that I'm thinking about that may change my mind because that's respect. Like, okay, you're a Jedi, but I respect what you just did. You brought Chewbacca in. Like, okay, you got skills, boy.
And I think that goes back to what I'm saying. It's like, he's like, all right, even if I hate you, like, I'm not on your side, I'm not on their side, dude, good on you, man. Hope you spend that money on something
So let me pose something else then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have your Boba Fett shirt on, by the way. So if you're listening to this podcast, you can check out the video version, which we have for you on Facebook. Even with the little scar right in the middle. Mm-hmm. But so maybe he's neither good. Boba Fett is neither good guy nor bad guy. He's neutral. He's just a bounty hunter. He just flows where the money is. That makes him neither good nor bad. He just is.
Yeah, he's his own story. He is his own side, I would say, probably the best way to put that. So not even neutral. I think he's very proud of who he is. I think he's very proud of his, throw my hands in air quotes, his dad in that way. And he's chosen that lifestyle, and he's proud of that lifestyle. And I don't think he has loyalty one way or another. But as far as good side, bad side, I mean, dark side, I think it's just the Boba side. And
interesting.
No problem with that.
All right. I would come to that conclusion, whereas I think he just worked with the bad guys, at least in the first his entrance into the Star Wars canon in the movies, in episodes 4 and 5 and 6. So I think that they enter him as a bad guy, but as the story unfolds, I mean, they were planning on making a Boba Fett movie at some point, and I think they pushed pause on that, not only for COVID-19, but because the Han Solo movie didn't do that well. So they were rethinking their strategy, because I'm going to guess what they're going to do in that story is somewhat like they did Disney, same operating modality, right? With Maleficent, whereas Maleficent is the evil witch, I think, in Snow White, but she's a bad witch. She's a bad witch. But the movie shows a different side of her, like the pre-going evil side, and you're like, oh, so you kind of have this sort of, not only is Angelina Jolie, you're like, hey, girl, what's up? Nah. I'm going to watch this Maleficent, sure. But you kind of like, all right, she's not as bad as the original Disney story made her out to be.
Yeah, I think I saw it. But here's the deal. You and I do voice work as well. We've been, for months now, we've been voicing corporate sales training for a certain organization that has a lot of competitors. If the heads of those competitors would look at you and I, they would look at you and I as linked up with that company. Yeah. They would see us as the bad guys. They'd see us as the competition, not as, oh, wow, it's some guy that I'd like to use for voice work as well. Man, they do a really good job. You see,
by the way, you can hire us. Cheers at Brewmance.beer if you need corporate voiceover work.
That's true, but you see what I'm saying there. Like in Boba's deal, it's like I'm just, whoever's got dough and who wants to pay me to do what I do. This is what I do. I'm in this business. It's not a pretty business, but it's a business that gets stuff done. It's a business, by the way, that still continues in this world today, in the real world, and it's my business.
I like that real world part, because in the real world, good and evil is not necessarily as black and white as is in a movie.
Exactly.
So, all right, I'll go with you on that. I'll at least say Boba Fett is Boba Fett. He's a neutral character who works for the money and who had the money. I'll use another example. I went to Italy a few years ago, and we were touring the Vatican. We had this tour guide. And you're looking at these amazing pieces of art that are 600 years old, 500 years old. Caravaggio, Michelangelo, all these people. So I asked the tour guide, I said, what's known about the artist's religious beliefs? Because, I was curious.
Right.
Is this their beliefs, or were they chasing the money? And she says, no one knows. No one knows, because they wouldn't dare speak out against these beliefs because the Roman Catholic Church was the only one paying artists. So they created these pieces of art for the church, because that's how artists got paid in many ways, or rich families or whatever. But the church had all kinds of dough. So that's what Boba Fett is. He's essentially Michelangelo or Caravaggio in that context of like, I just go where the money is. If that happens to be good or bad, and that's whatever you think of the Catholic Church. You think it's good? They're not all good. Let's put it that way. And I grew up Catholic, so I can say that. It's like the Geneva Convention. So that's my caveat there. So in a sense, we'll call Boba Fett like an artist. Oh, the dark side's pain? I'll work for the dark side.
That's his skill.
I will do my art that way.
That's his skill.
Yes.
That's his skill. That's what he does. That's his job, and people contract him to do that. Trust me, I'm sure if Yoda shows up with a stack full of cash, he'd have gone right after Darth Vader or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, explain to me, non-Boba Fett, about the clones. Because I can't remember this. So, in Clone Wars, the Jedi, if I'm not mistaken, used the clone army.
Yes, because what was happening was, as far as I understand, Count Dooku started all this. Count Dooku was a Jedi.
On the down.
Yeah, exactly. But he was a Sith Lord. So he was, I think he was developing it as, look what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing, Master Yoda. I'm building this for us. And you saw how quickly the clones turned with Operation 66, I believe it was.
Oh, yeah, when they kill all the Jedi.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Led by Anakin.
Correct.
Who became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
That's a Palpatine.
But man, that whole line is just whiny. Man, do they just whine. They're just a bunch of wimps.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. I mean, it is what it is, man. The Skywalker clan is like,
Well, especially too when you go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you watch it as a kid, you don't notice anything, but when you watch it as an adult, you're like, man, Luke is a whiny SOB.
Stop whining.
I was going to get some power converters.
Let's get Toshi Station. And then his dad was the same way. And I'm like, why was Rey such a badass? Rey's not whining about anything. Rey's just coming with it. Oh, because she's a Palpatine. Well, that makes a whole lot more sense right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just gave it away, man.
Oh, they're fine. They're fine. It's on Disney Plus. It's been on Disney Plus for a hot minute.
Yeah,
it's fine. Not spoiling anything.
So let's say Boba is neutral.
Yes, but not a bad guy.
Not a bad guy. Not a good guy. He's just Boba.
But two Boba in his bank account. Boba's a good guy.
Well, but you got to survive. You got to survive.
That's right. It's your economy. Boba's economy's banging.
And then we can get into another debate sometime about whether or not the moral part of the economic benefit is good or bad.
Okay.
So maybe that's a second round debate on
But
that.
once again, it goes back to my example I was using with our voice work that we're doing. So we would say, yeah, of course it's equal. This is a good company. This is that. Yeah. The other company, the competitors think it's an evil company.
Mm-hmm.
So in their eyes, that no, the economic benefit didn't pan out. Morally.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, what about this beer? Modern Times Ice. Good, bad, or neutral? That is what we'll weigh on next. And we'd love to hear from you, speaking of which. Is Boba Fett bounty hunter from Star Wars? Good guy, bad guy, or you agree with us? This is what the whole point of cracking open a beer and having this conversation is. You crack open a beer, you're patient, you hang out, you feel each other out, and you kind of end up where you end up. That's what we do here at the Brewmance, so we'd want to hear from you. Let us know. Good guy, bad guy, or indifferent.
I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying. I'm good. Let's do this. Modern Times beers, the ice. This is, here's why I like this beer. Before I give it a score. What I like about this beer is a lot of times you're in a pool, especially here in Arizona. You're in a pool and you drink pool beer. It's like usually light stuff, and it's probably not the best stuff you have in your fridge. And because you don't want something heavy when you're out there in the pool, it's 100 degrees.
Right.
This is a beefy Pilsner. This has a good amount of weight to it. I would like to drink this in the pool and not think, wow, I am actually sacrificing good taste because I'm in the pool. I like this a lot. This is solid 8.5.
Nice.
I know. I like this.
There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's a vegan beer. It says so on the back of the can. This beer is vegan.
Wait a second. Hold on. I might have to get a new score.
He's dropping it down. This beer is vegan. But, why wouldn't it be? There's nothing in there that uses an animal product. But
it's pretty funny.
It must be organic grain or something. Who knows?
They're San Diego people. That's what they are.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think your analysis is spot on. It's a Pilsner that tastes like a Pilsner.
Yeah.
But
just a craft Pilsner. If you come with me on that. Like, it's like a craft Pilsner. It's not just a Pilsner. Because I'm going to the pool, so I'm just going to get this little 6-pack of Pilsners and think, ugh, I'm sorry.
So, I've been to Czech Republic where the Pilsner was invented. I didn't go to Pils. I think it's Pilsen is the name of the town it was. But there's something crisp and fresh. Like those beers, they're just so refreshing. Even when it was cold out, we went in October.
I like that.
Cold. November, actually. It was cold.
Dang.
But, they pour them in the bars when you're in Prague. And it's like literally $1 for a beer. So you're like, this is the best country in the history of the world.
How big is $1 beer?
It's a regular size beer.
Shut up.
Pint of beer. Mm-hmm. Serving a nice big old mug. Oh, it's great.
For $1?
And then you get a big one for like $2.
$2?
Yeah, like a big old one of those big old boot ones.
I'm paying the upgrade.
Mm-hmm. You should. It's worth it. This kind of has a refreshing, old world sort of sense to it with that weight that Mike was talking about it. So yeah, I'll just match your 8.5 to do the math easy.
Well, yeah.
This is, if you're a Pilsner drinker, this is a beer you're going to dig. So if you see it on the shelves, go get yourself some ice.
And that can art is just stupid fun.
It does.
I'm
make you think
into
of roller
it.
skates and whatever. Yeah,
it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
What up, roller girl? How your mom and them?
How your mom and them?
Woo!
Well, Modern Ice, your ice, very good, 8.5 on the Brewmance barometer. We appreciate you hanging out with us. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, we'd love it if you did so. And if you share it, that would be phenomenal, because that way more people find out about the Brewmance. And the key benefit of that is you share it, maybe the world can come a little bit closer together, even when you're on different sides of political aisles or whatever. Crack them with a beer. Let's have conversations and work our way through it. So let's see what else we got for you. Brewmance.beer is the website. Instagram is the _Brewmance. Give us a follow there. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/thebrewmance. And what else? Oh, Brewmance on the radio. Saturday nights, 550 KFY on iHeartRadio in Phoenix, Arizona. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app as well.
That's right. Till next time. Cheers, everybody.